favorite subject is math.
Okay, so you are going straight to the next question. So now, how many friends do you think you have?
3.
You have 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you are pretty sure about your 3 friends. Are they all boys or are they girls and boys?
No, boys.
All right. Okay, we'll talk to you a little bit more about your friends. How did you choose friends, or how did you uh, end up having these 3 people as your friends?
Well, 2 of them used to be the class clown.
Let me see, the class clown? Okay.
And one of them is really nice.
Okay, let me ask this question because when I was growing up, my baby brother, they used to say he was the class clown. What do you have to do to be the class clown?
Act funny, do funny stuff.
Okay, so your class clown friends keep you laughing?
Mm-hmm.
Laughter is good for the soul thing. That's what they say. All right, so it's good to have some funny friends too. All right, thank you for sharing that, Kyler. And Kyler is leading us to the next topic. And the next topic is, what are some of your favorite subjects at school? And Kyler, let's begin with you, because you were telling us math is one of your favorite subjects.
Another is gym, art, and library, and reading.
All right, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's see. Gym, library, reading, and what was the other one? I knew math was in there. Did you say art?
Yeah, art.
Okay, so what are you all doing in gym class?
We are doing, we were working on the parachute, and now we're on basketballs, like what to do with them and stuff.
Okay, so do you ever watch basketball on TV at any time?
No, but I'd love to play it.
Oh, but you love to play. Did you by any chance see the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I watched the Super Bowl.
Okay, so what did you think about the Super Bowl?
Pretty tempting.
All right, thank you. That's a nice word to describe the Super Bowl. Tempting. All right, thank you, Kyla. Let's go to our friend Melissa. What are some of your favorite subjects?
Math, reading, science, gym, art, and music.
Okay, you know what? That's so wonderful that you all like so many subjects at school. Tell us what you're learning in music.
Well, we have been working on some songs, and then we had this music, and there's some dance that we had to do with, and the music is called Welcome to My World, or something like that. I can't remember.
Okay, but you all get to dance to it too?
Mm-hmm.
How do you learn to dance? Because some people learn to dance real easily. Other people need to have all the instructions.
Well, I go to dance class, and our music teacher, she teaches us how to play or how to do the dance.
All right, good for you. Thank you. And I saw them dancing at the Super Bowl too during halftime. And a lot of the young people thought it was pretty cool. Okay, all right, thank you. Let's go to our friend Anella. What are some of your favorite subjects at school?
My favorite subjects are science, math, writing, gym, music, and art.
Okay, you have lots of subjects too. So let's see what's going on in your art class.
Well, we're making these pods, and we had to roll them, and then we had to stick them together, and then when we're gonna heat them, after we heat them, we're gonna paint them, and then we're gonna be able to take them home and use them for lots of subjects.
Oh, wonderful. And I almost forgot to ask you, did you figure out how many friends you have?
Yes.
How many?
10.
No wonder she needed both of her hands to count. You have 10 friends. How did you choose your friends, or how did your friends choose you?
Well, because I choose all my friends because they are helpful and kind.
Oh, that's a great way to choose friends, isn't it? And did I ask you about friends? How many friends do you think you have? I'm speaking to Melissa at this time.
I think we'll have to have a little bit of time to count.
Okay, because she probably has many friends too. That's great. Let's ask Miss Wallaken Green. When she was a little girl, sometimes it's good to find out what our teachers and our principals think too. But when you were a little girl, Miss Wallaken Green, what were some of your favorite subjects at school?
Oh, math has always been my favorite subject because I was so good at it. Reading came in second, and now reading is way up there because I love to read. It's a way to discover the world. We talked about traveling when we were on our way here, and some of them have been many places, but in a book you can go to lots of locations and then you can visualize that. So math and reading were my favorite subjects.
Wonderful. And math and reading can really help you in almost every career that you may choose in life. So now Ms. Wallaken Green is a principal. So she probably read many, many books and had to figure out many math problems. All right, thank you. Let's now go back to our guests. And for those of you who are just tuning in, we have Mr. Kyler Bromahim. Did I say your name right? Bromahim?
Brown Jim.
Brahma Jim, that's right, Brahma Jim, thank you. And he's 9 years old, and Miss Melissa Hodzik, who's 9 years old, and Miss Anela Sakanovic, did I say that right? Kavanovich, Sakanovic, who is 8 years old, and they are sharing from the Kittrell Elementary School. Accompanying these students today is Miss Audrey Wallaken Green, a very fine principal at Kittrell, and we try to bring her in on some of these questions because sometimes we forget that we adults were little children too, and children like to find out how we got to where we are today. So let's go back to our guests, and our next question is, when you grow up, what do you think you might like to do or to be in life? All right, let's begin with Kyler this time.
When I grow up, I want to be either a doctor or a baseball player.
Okay, so Kyler, what kind of doctor do you think you might like to be? Like a doctor that maybe helps children, or a doctor who does surgery, or?
Help kids.
Okay, so you might be thinking about like a pediatrician doctor, a doctor who specializes with children. Well, that's good, and then you're thinking about being a baseball player too. Now, do you play baseball sometimes?
I played it last year, and I'm going back into it in a couple of months.
Okay, so you were on a team last year. Do you ever watch baseball on TV? Not yet?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck to you in both of those career choices. All right. Because you could be a doctor going over to swing that baseball bat after work too, right? Okay. All right, thank you, Kyla. Let's go to our friend Melissa. Melissa, when you grow up, what do you think you might like to do or to be in life?
I might want to be a nurse, nail artist, and do hair.
A nurse and what else?
Nail artist and hair.
Okay. Well, those are very interesting choices too. So why do you think you might like to be a nurse?
Well, my mom, she was a nurse, and I want to be a nurse too. I want to be just like my mom when I grow up.
Okay, and we need lots of great nurses. And then we're going to hear from Ms. Wallaken Green after we hear from Anela. When you mentioned that hair stylist, I remember Ms. Wallaken Green talking about that. All right, let's go to Anela. What do you think you might like to do or be when you grow up?
I would like to be a teacher when I grow up.
All right, and what grade level do you think you might like to teach? Like kindergarten, preschool, first, second, third?
Third.
Third grade. Oh, just like the grade you're in now. Is third grade one of your favorite grades that you can remember?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And you're wearing a very beautiful hairstyle today too.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, let's go to Miss Audrey Wallaken Green. I don't know when she was a little girl what she wanted to be when she grew up, but let's find out.
Well, when I was a little girl, I loved doing hair, so I wanted to be a cosmetologist like you, Melissa. and then I decided something different. So now I want to be a doctor like Dr. Kirkland Holmes, so I'm back in school working on my doctorate.
Ooh,
But eventually, I'm going back to that childhood wish, and I'm going to eventually have a beauty salon. What do you think about that, Melissa? Maybe you can come work for me. That's after I retire from education.
ooh, wouldn't that be exciting?
Yeah.
Oh, and Melissa just might end up working, can you believe that, working with her former principal of her school? Those things do happen, because a lot of times people who know us help us. So that's good luck to all of you, and good luck to Ms. Walligan Green working on her doctorate degree, because that's going to also help to better the lives of many people. Which leads to the next question. There are children all over the world, and some of you have traveled to places. Let's find out about that before I go to the question about children. Some of you have traveled outside of Iowa. Who's been outside of Iowa? Are we, okay, let's find out about this. All the hands went up for those of you out in Radio Land. Let's begin with Kyla. Kyla, where have you traveled to that you can remember?
Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm. Okay, but you remember Wisconsin because that probably was a more recent trip. And sometimes we go places when we were little or a baby, and we don't always remember all of them. But you remember Wisconsin?
I went there because the Packers were a Packers fan.
Oh, so did you get to go to a Green Bay Packers game?
No, but we went right across it. We were right next to the stadium. So we got to see the Jets and stuff fly up in the air.
Oh, well that seems like that was a very interesting trip for you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that. So you're a Packers fan?
Uh-huh.
All right, so how did the Packers do this year? Did they do pretty good?
Yeah, they went in the playoffs, but they got beat by the 49ers, I think.
Oh yeah, they had a tough time getting those last two teams for the Super Bowl because they had so many great teams. A lot of people were pulling for the Packers,
Uh-huh.
so maybe next year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Let's go to our friend Anella. She shared a little bit about her travels. Anella, would you like, oh, excuse me, Anella's over here. Anella, would you like to share about your travel? I was thinking of Melissa, I'm sorry.
I went to New York, Florida, Wisconsin Dells.
Ooh.
That's all I can remember.
Okay, so those are great places to travel to also. When you went to Florida, did you go like to Disney World or Disney, any place like that? Or just on a nice vacation?
Yeah, we just went to a hotel and just for a nice vacation.
Oh yeah, that Florida's a great place to visit also. And New York. How did you like New York? Were you old enough to remember?
Yes, actually we go every year so my mom can see her parents. And I have a cousin up there and we always play with each other and have fun.
Oh, so your mom is from New York. So you get to go every year. Oh, I wish I could go to New York every year. All right. Well, good luck to you with your travels also. And I was looking at Melissa because Melissa mentioned some of her travels earlier. Tell us some places where you've traveled, Melissa.
Wisconsin Dells, Bosnia, and Chicago, and Des Moines.
Okay. You've been traveling all over. All right. If you could tell us one of your favorite places that you traveled to, which one would you choose?
I would choose Des Moines because I had two cousins that I didn't know about, and I finally got to meet them.
Oh, wasn't it a wonderful experience? How old were they when you met them?
I was 8.
You were 8, and how old were your cousins?
My cousin, she was 10, and then my little cousin, she was 5.
Okay, well, that is wonderful. Now, thank you for sharing about your travels. Let's find out about Miss Walligan Green. Let's see especially where she's been to. We know she lives in Iowa now, but where have you traveled to?
I lived in Europe for 3 years, so I had an opportunity to go to France and Amsterdam, Switzerland, Czechoslovakia, and that was lots of fun. I've been to the Bahamas and New York, and I just want to get to California one day, so I have to do a little more traveling on that coast. I've been to the East Coast, but not much to the West. So Mississippi, almost every year when I was growing up, that's where we traveled to visit my grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins. So that was the highlight of my childhood, but as an adult, I've done lots of traveling.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit. You lived in Europe, you said?
Yes,
What brought you to Europe?
my husband was military, and so we lived in Germany for 3 years, and what an awesome opportunity. Lots of family things to do there, and then I had the ability to do lots of traveling while I was there because everything is so close. So we were there in, oh my, before you all were born, in the 80s.
Oh, how exciting. So you've traveled places that so many of us dream about traveling to. I know a lot of you and I students are in Camp Adventure, and some of them are getting to go over to a few of the places where Ms. Wallaken Green has been. So thank you for sharing that. All right, now that we've found out about all these wonderful places you've traveled to, there are children all over the world. Many of them have lost family members to war, to natural disasters like hurricanes and bad weather. Some of them do not have food, shelter. Some of them have been abandoned because their parents were missing or lost or died. If you could help children in any part of the world, what do you think you would do? Even though you're a child, you want to think about helping others. What do you think you might do, Kyler?
Probably for homeless people, me and my dad would probably make shelter for them
Okay.
and go out to the store for them and get some food, drinks, and that's it.
That's wonderful. And so you would make some shelter for them, provide shelter. That would be very important so that they wouldn't just be out in the streets or out wandering around and have no place to live.
And for the last question we just finished, where we traveled, I remember another place, Dubuque.
Oh, you went to Dubuque?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so did you like it there?
Yeah, my aunt and uncle live there.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. I got to go down to University of Dubuque football games because my son is going in for college. All right, so thank you for sharing that. All right, let's go to our friend Melissa. Melissa, if you could help some children in other parts of the world, what do you think you would do?
I would build them shelters, give them food, and give them some money.
Oh, very good. And so all of those things would be very helpful to people who are in need. Mhm.
And for the question that you asked, how many friends I have 19.
No wonder you had to think about that. So how did you choose your friends? Or how did your friends choose you, either one?
Well, when I came here to Kittrell, I was new here, and all of them, they wanted to be my friends. And then some of them, like at Chicago or Bosnia, they were like my cousins, and some of them were my neighbors, and they wanted to be my friends.
Wow, what an exciting way to gain new friends. That's just wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that information with us, Melissa. Let's go to our friend, thank you. Let's go to our friend Anella. If you could help boys and girls in any parts of the world have a brighter life, what would you do?
I would help them by giving them some money and building them a shelter and helping them like go places.
Okay, very good. You would help them so that when they need to go somewhere, you would provide transportation for them. Oh, how exciting. Very good, thank you. And I almost forgot, Melissa, that we wanted you to help us with maybe a few words in the Bosnian language? Maybe you could tell us how to count from 1 to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Ooh, say it one more time. All right, hold it just a minute. For those of you on Radio Land, if you want to hear how to count in one of the Bosnian languages, Melissa Hartzik is going to share again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right, thank you for sharing that with us. Maybe we can get it written down and put it on a chart so we can practice. All right, let me ask you one more question. How do you say hello?
Hello.
Hello? How about goodbye?
Laka noć.
Say it again.
Laka noć.
Laka noć. And when we're about to end our show today, we're going to ask Melissa to help us go off the air today. And we're going to say it again.
Laka noć.
Laka noć. She's going to help us leave today. And, all right, let me see. As we are about to leave today, I'm going to see if anybody wants to send a shout out to someone in your family. A shout out is when you say hi to mom, dad, sister, brother, friends, and people with all those 10 friends and 19 friends. All right, so let's begin with Anella this time. Anella, what would you like to send a shout out to anyone?
Thank you, Mom and Dad, for taking care of me.
Oh, what a wonderful shout out, saying thank you to your parents. How about you? How about Melissa? Who would you like to send a shout out to?
Thank you, Mom, Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, and my brother for taking care of me.
Oh, that's wonderful. How about our friend Kyler?
Thank you, Mom and Dad. You took good care of me.
He wanted to emphasize that they take good care of him. And let's find out from Ms. Wallace Green if she would like to send a shout out to someone today.
Certainly. How about my parents? I'll send a shout out to my parents and my children, the Wallach and Green family, and my Kittro family.
All right. So with that, we are going to say Mandina Uzuri Watoto, but we want Miss Melissa to say goodbye in Bosnian.
Laka noć.
Laka noć is what she said. And with that, we'd like to thank you for tuning in to Family Rewards of Life. My name is Gloria Kirkland Holmes. And don't forget to tune in again next time after you have heard from Kyla Bromagem and Melissa Hartzik and Anella Sakanovich and Miss Audrey Wallace-Green, the very fine principal at Kittrell Elementary School. Don't forget to tune in again next week for another edition of Family Rewards of Life.
There comes a time when we hear so call, when the world must come together as one.